Eleanor Blasingame, and I'm here to talk about Tom. In the summertime, they always rounded up and gathered cattle, or the calves, and moved the cattle around. Then in the winter, when those films were made, they were sent to our camp to gather the wild cattle out of the head of the canyons around. And sometimes there'd be 15 or 20 cowboys, or down to 10 would come with their horses and then stay at our camp probably a month or 6 weeks gathering the wild cattle. And then from our place they would go somewhere else to do other winter work.
So they'd round them up and they'd have the trucks down there?
Yes. For the wild cattle, there was no roundup much to it. They went out every morning and tried to find out where the cattle spent the night, and then kind of trail them to where they were, or go to the brush, thick brush, where they could find them. And there'd be 4 or 5 of them around. And when the cattle broke out of the brush, which they would as soon as they saw the cowboys would each take after something and try to catch it. And sometimes there were long runs. They'd run maybe 2 or 3 miles before they could catch them. And when they did catch one, they'd throw him and then try to hog tie him. And then when help came, they would put 3 ropes on him, or 2, or whatever they needed at that time, and tie the animal to a tree till a big truck came to pick him up. And then they would haul him out to a pasture on the flats somewhere. My brothers, I had 2 brothers that were working on the Matador Ranch, and Mother and I went up to take my brothers some clothes and whatever and visit with them. And that's where I met Tom, on the Matador Ranch near Channing. And then then in the summer they had 4th of July, they had a few days off. My brothers came home and Tom came with them. And I guess from there on, I was interested in horses, and he was, of course, horses were his life. And that was a kind of a common ground from there.
If you had a good amount of horses, they came first before wild kids or anything. And he's had been offered in the past jobs and places that were much more interesting to me than where he was. But he said, no, I can't leave my horses. Somebody about me being to them. So we stayed on account of the horses, and he loved his horses.
What did he think about being a celebrity? Because he really, really was.
I don't think it ever entered his mind that he was. He just went on the same, and you could never tell it. And everything was, well, if that's what they want, yes, he'd cooperate. And he was just so kind about it, and everybody just, and of course, he had so many friends during the time that he was doing all those things and going to these different places where they had called him to come and be a part of it. Like they took him, they sent him to Oklahoma City, and that's where I think they made him a member of the Cowboy Hall of Fame there. And then we went to Alpine 2 or 3 times, and then to Wichita Falls times too. That's where he won the Wrangler Award, I think, or one of them. And he just enjoyed meeting all the cowboys, and we met such lovely people that we would have not been able to had he not been asked to show up. And so it was nice for him, and he enjoyed it. But he never changed. He was always just the same.